They spent 3 billion in cash, and the rest was in shares. And share value at that time when they spent increased. There was justified purchase, and 50% within 12 months. Okay, and today, from the purchase date, from 450 million active users there, they increased to 1.3 billion users. So monetization is a brilliant thing because the share, as I said, price increased from $30 per share, it increased to 176 between 2012 and 2017. Data cell, they got access to the data. Again, if you don't push a button on your WhatsApp device, Facebook can use the user's data and for whatever reasons they use it.
Exactly, and then solve this.
Yeah.
And so 2 is, how might existing Facebook shareholders be hurt by the deal?
Well, shareholders were hurt for like about 5% at the beginning, but then and dilution of shares. But eventually, the share price went skyrocketed really, and increased. I think in the first 12 months, it increased 50%. So there is no loss at all.
Yes.
And it's eventually up to date price is 175 or 30 dollars per share.
But there is also impact. We should remember smaller acquisitions in the meantime.
Yeah, during that time. But we look 12 months only. There was a 50% change.
Right.
And then it says, and what do the current shareholders have to assume about future earnings growth to benefit from the deal?
Absolutely, they benefit from the deal just to keep looking, buying more, and getting the value in the shares.
But the assumption is that
that
there actually going to be an increase in the share value.
Yeah, as long as they're going to keep buying. And,
as long as they keep buying to remain at the forefront of
yeah,
technology.
That's right.
And 3.
Yes, they have to continue acquire potential competitors. So this is the acquisition model to grow up.
Yeah.
And 3 is, given the nature of technology, do you believe it's possible for one firm to dominate the mobile messaging space?
We believe not, because there are some strong legacy providers in some markets, like in China, for example, WeChat, strong
Russia, China, Middle East.
And there are some regulation which may not allow this business model to be implemented. For example, some markets don't like that data is end-to-end encrypted, like Middle East countries or China, where those applications are even not allowed to operate.
Because of the privacy laws.
And 4, do you believe that Facebook is justified in its aggressive acquisition strategy?
Well, I think it's a perfect justification. It can't be anything better. The dramatic increase in price in the 5 years from 30 to 100 up to 175, and number of users, because the users numbers are about close to 2 billion from the time when they acquired it. I think it was close to 1 billion, maybe less. So it's like users now doubled.
Especially the access to the new markets where the people are looking
different
regions and a different kind of users, because this is almost free model for the user. So people in, let's say, in the rural countries in India, they are not really looking for the fancy features, but they would like to have the free applications to make a communication.
So 5, describe how Facebook has chosen to deal with cultural differences that may exist between it and the firms it acquires.
They didn't. They let them be.
What we recognize that we will not do the post-merger integration, as the strategy is to keep it a separate business. So it's not a problem.
Yeah, no, there's no integration. To keep it, the cultures the way they are as they buy.
We should also here tell that was only 55 employees in WhatsApp.
Exactly.
So it's really small.
It's not exactly a problem to deal with.
Yeah. Well, they outsource.
Yes.
And what alternatives to acquisition did Facebook have in dealing with the WhatsApp acquisition?
Yeah. Well, they developed their own homegrown program called Messenger, which is again, it was quite alright for them, but again, they can't do it, carry on with that, because they have to do both ways. They can develop, and also they have to keep buying companies, keep building the machine, keep feeding the machine.
Yes, and this is the trend which is in the market right now. In the financial services companies like JP Morgan, to compete in the Fintech, they are not able to develop in-house. They have no resources and capabilities, so they tend to rather acquire small, interesting businesses with good people. and put it in-house.
Yeah, perfect QLA example.
So we walk through this. That's the case.
What do you think then?
Well, I knew the answer before you started.
Oh.
But no, I won't say it's a no-brainer, but I mean it's close to a no-brainer.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't make any difference what price they paid for it. They couldn't let somebody else acquire it. It's enabled them to get access into 450 million additional users.
Right.
Doesn't make any
Now,
difference.
20 plus years ago, she wouldn't have given you that answer when I found her at E&Y. Believe me. That's a less chartered accountant answer, financial analyst answer, and a more of a entrepreneurial answer that she's seen hundreds of businesses fall, rise, crash in the last couple of decades. No, but she's right. She's absolutely correct. There's certain assets. You'll see acquisitions from time to time that don't make sense. But if you understood the growth strategy or the vision or the dream, whatever you want to call it, well, we can't let this off the hook because 450 million users, whatever. I mean,
And they have
Different
they have
demographics
money
and all sorts, yeah.
So they changed it from 450 million into 1.3 billion in 5 years. So it was both ways.
yeah.
And Facebook started to decline. I mean, the number of users.
No, they didn't. Hang on. There's
kind of roof which Facebook will face sooner or later, right? And they have another.
Yeah, but hang on. If you stop for a second, remember we said Facebook is going to become as a TV channel sort of thing, as a platform. Everything's going to be delivered through it.
They can, but they have through this. It's like another arm of the Zuckerberg.
The thing for them is they just need to keep on acquiring other technologies, and it doesn't make any difference. They can do all the homegrown stuff, but at the end of the day, they've got to go out there and buy new emerging technology, cutting edge stuff, to continue the cycle of getting more shareholders who are willing to invest in them. And they're not repatriating the cash to them because they've got more cash now than they had before. They've got 9 billion sitting on their balance sheet, which is good news because then obviously the value of the stock that they're giving, if they can pay with more stock than cash.
Yeah, but
and they do share swaps every time they buy something. They don't.
But we should also remember that this market is very dynamic. And for example, that was in popular some time ago social network, which is not popular anymore. MySpace. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They have many users now. It went down. No one really used it anymore. So
Well,
Facebook can also get to this point.
They're effectively trying to stop being in the social.
Yes, but it was very fast. So maybe Facebook think, okay, what will be the next?
Yeah, I'm sure they have something in mind.
So let's buy more.
Shall we suggest what they should buy?
Is this your MBA student talking now?
Are you MBA?
Huh?
Yeah, recently graduated.
Yeah. Okay.
Good for
Well, which hat are you wearing now?
Both.
Yeah.
Graduated
Or
with
is it coming
honors.
up the gutter? Up the gutter, over hitting every speed bump possible. Yeah.
Yeah, so makes sense. So what would you advise to Facebook to buy now? What's in the market? What's next?
My startup.
Oh, there's only one employee.
One employee. Okay, so payroll is very
20 billion. 20
That's
billion.
good vision and a lot of opportunities. Emerging markets is blue ocean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And get rid of the CEO.
But we give you all shares if you're all right.
Okay. Yeah. And we have a daughter that can be hired, who's got a degree from Northwestern Integrated Marketing, which is the internet marketing degree now, the new internet marketing, so that is probably going to leave her current position with a Fortune 500 company. So and she's a product of, how we're talking about the schools, and he went to the right school. I mean, she's a product of that, because in that little niche, that school is supposedly, they got the best program for the next 25 years in internet marketing. So, okay, well, that's good. That's good. Okay.
One more to go, yeah?
One more to go. Microsoft acquisition of Skype also
That's
complicated.
going to be a while.
Yeah.
That was going to be.
Copycat.
What's that one?
Okay.
Yep, that's.
Let's have a look at another one.
Let's do another one.
Oh, okay, so the other one.
Where is it? Oh, this is in my bag.
Maybe you left it in Poland.
I will have it here.
Okay.
So we've not ruminated on this one yet.
No, but he said this is from where? From Harvard?
This is from Harvard. Yes.
Case study, so.
Yeah, so Microsoft acquired Skype. They paid for this. How much they paid? Even though that Skype was making the losses, net loss of 7 million on revenues 860 million. The Microsoft decided to purchase it for 8.5 billion in cash.
All in cash.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
But they loaded the cash anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that led to some controversy because that was another valuation from investor, some other company that they said it's only 3 billion. We should walk through this and then understand because those cases tend to be more complicated than.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
So,
there's
so you're
more
saying
factors.
that all the cases, your other cases you've gone through.
Yeah, this is the last one.
This is the last one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But about this WhatsApp, we've been talking since yesterday. Even I was doing some Google last night to have a better picture.
Well, the other ones are quite simple because they've already either they've been through or just ABC. Like very, very simple.
Yeah,
What are the questions for this?
There are questions there. No?
let me see.
Oh, can we apply the same questions for this?
Well, we could.
No, but we're going to hear it soon.
I would think it's most probably some quite similar in some respects because I mean, why would they buy it?
Yeah.
Now, there is one question. So was Skype really worth 8.5 billion? That's one of the questions.
Well, tell me about it now. When was it acquired? The share price increased.
That's always the people that weren't part of the deal are always asking, was it worth it?
Right.
Yeah, but the upshot is, because one person said it was only worth 3 and they paid 8. But clearly they must have thought that they could get there must have been something in there that they saw that was more valuable than other people.
But what was the story that the Microsoft, they have not really the communicator like that before, and then they have something was called Link, so you can do the business calls through this, and then they incorporated Skype into the whole package because how Microsoft is working, they have the multiple in their portfolio. They have you can just buy Office, you can buy some part of this SharePoint, for example, different parts. So it's like a building blocks of that. And now how they're pricing it, so they are very smart because they come to you, for example, and they ask you, what do you really need? What your users are doing, and you can just adjust your license to this. So they've added maybe different features.
I mean, Sky is a very completely different product to a Microsoft
Exactly, you have to
product.
pay for
I mean,
the phone calls.
No, but
Skype.
there are two versions of Skype. There's Skype for business.
Oh, but that's
Yes.
the very latest version. Because before,
But it's still for the civil people as well.
But before it didn't exist, remember?
Yes.
So it was like a free phone call. So if you want to call to landline in any country, it was free. But if you called a mobile phone, you had to pay.
Yeah.
And now?
Still, mobile phones in another country, you have to pay unless you.
Yeah, but if you just Skype to Skype,
Then
it's
it's
free.
free.
But they added some functions so you can call through everywhere. You can have a number, even US number in
Yeah.
Poland. I can buy through Skype.
Yeah, but go back into the
This voice over.
purchase date. They didn't have it. They had like just a simple call options and video calls. Obviously, it was not just a call. Video.
But, so before, even without reading these numbers, what I can say that would be similar to this previous. So they decided to buy it, maybe to keep the competitors from
Keep
doing
other
this.
people buying it.
Yeah.
Again, the reasons could be the same to buy into communications market
Yeah.
because they didn't have
Which
it.
wasn't something we're in.
Yeah, the same like Facebook did with WhatsApp.
Yeah.
how existing shareholders be hurt by the deal? Well, I assume the price dropped a little bit in shares and after recovered because it's
The deal was expensive. As well.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the shareholders would be upset that, you know, somebody else had said it was only worth 3 and they just paid 8.
yeah. But,
So they really, you know, they would be concerned that there would be some deterioration in their values of their shares.
because of the delusion, right?
Well, because of the fact that they just gave 8 billion away when they might have only been worth
But
3.
historically they recovered very quickly again. We don't know
Have
yet.
they recovered?
Well, there's very interesting information
We need to
here.
double check a little more yet.
There is interesting, like in the case of WhatsApp, they've paid $44 per user, and here they've paid $1,000 per user.
Oh, that's interesting.
How much? How much is that?
$1,000 a
1,000.
user.
Yeah,
So
but
they had very few
But basically,
users.
those all models like are build something, get as much user as you
What's the
can,
Skype
and
revenue?
sell.
What's happened to the
At
share
that time.
price?
What was the revenue at that time?
Here it is, the Skype revenue,
At that time.
860 million,
Well, at that time they were making 860 million a year.
and
Skype.
net loss.
Yeah. So it means that
7
they,
million.
that's
7 million net loss.
Right.
Is that all?
Microsoft.
So they paid 12
So they're not
times
making-
revenue.
That would be the better one.
760
Right, like
the revenue, and they paid 8 billion.
32 times EBITDA.
32 times.
Or you know, 8 times revenue.
yeah.
Yeah.
Strategic.
So it's
They call it
interesting.
strategic move to take the marketplace.
So what we see, because those deals are similar, actually, in this we can say that industry is similar. So another thing is that valuations are crazy in technology. What I can say from my perspective right now, and God knows what is the real value behind it at the moment.
Well, the real value is what somebody paid for it. The last person to pay for it.
You see,
Yes, depends
it's
how
all
long
right-
it will be.
It's all right saying someone else thought it was only worth 3 billion and they thought it was worth 8, so they bought it for 8. But what about actually whether they could acquire it for 3 billion? Just because someone says it's worth 3 doesn't mean you're going to get it, does it?
Yes.
Exactly. But looking back to that time, there was no other connecting device and technologies. The Skype was only one. Let's not forget that. There was not many in the market.
But Microsoft, they have very powerful engineers. So
no back then. There was a Skype, most popular. Everybody
No,
liked
still,
Skype.
I believe that they have so many people that can develop. So they
but-
build the network. I think that they,
But how long had Skype been around at that time? I mean, wasn't an emerging.
one
It
of
wasn't
the
like it was new. It's one of the old ones. It's been around a long time.
like 5 years.
More.
More.
One of the oldest. Skype is one of the
Yeah.
oldest.
So, you know,
Okay.
All those businesses are kind of platforms. So you put the users and then try to.
Okay. They had a Windows Live Messenger on.
But that was unsuccessful. We have here the picture of the whole landscape of the ecosystem. Yes,
Do you have historic data when it happened?
it is attached here.